We're just talking about the picture in India, and you've been repurposing your operations to try and fight COVID-19. Just give us an idea of what that has looked like on an operational basis.
Well, as you know, every one of us in the biopharma space has had to do whatever we could to address this pandemic. And of course, from our point of view, we started with, basically opening up our labs to various types of testing, starting with RT-PCR and antibody and antigen testing. We've, of course, repurposed one of our drugs to address the very lethal aspects of cytokine release. And of course, we've also, developed other drugs that we licensed from various companies for treating COVID, et cetera, et cetera. So I think, and of course, we as a company rolled out vaccination to all our employees. So we also accredited ourselves as a vaccination center where we not only, deployed vaccination across the company, but we've also vaccinated several communities in the neighborhood who needed access to vaccination. So I think we've tried to do our bit in terms of addressing this pandemic. And suffice to say that the path ahead is about pandemic surveillance. And that's an area which I think we also will basically try and play a very important role in. Because as you just heard, I think the world is very concerned about these variants. And I don't think, we are going to be, free of variants in the foreseeable future. So tracking new variants is going to be important. I personally believe that, vaccinations are going to be effective against most variants. And I think the immune escape that we're talking about in terms of variants will still, see some effectiveness in terms of cross-reactivity. So I'm very hopeful and optimistic that vaccinations will protect us in the long term.
Doctor, we were just talking about the number of cases now under 100,000, well off the levels we saw back in May, over 400,000 daily cases of COVID-19 reported at one stage. Do you think you're through the worst of the crisis now in India, or is it too early to call that?
Well, unfortunately, what we've seen in the recent past is what we call as waves of the coronavirus, which is really not very comforting as a thought, because we thought we were over the worst of it at the start of the year. But as you know, we were hit by the tsunami by the end of March. And so it's now it's about making sure that we are prepared for any eventuality. So right now, yes, we are seeing very promising signs. The numbers are rapidly coming down, just like they do for various waves of the pandemic. But I think I'm very confident that now that we are in a position to vaccinate a large part of our population over the next several months, we should be able to mute any wave that could hit us in the future. And that's, I think, the way most countries are looking at it, saying that you cannot completely prevent infections, but, hopefully you will prevent hospitalization.